Hey, it's Mike from Purity. I get a lot of questions about self-manipulating, self-cracking, and if that's beneficial, harmful, why would it be harmful? So cavitating a joint, so cracking a joint, is actually when we take, where one bone meets another bone, it forms a union, and it's surrounded by a capsule, so it contains all the fluid within it. And this is a synovial joint I'm referring to. It basically takes this joint and it releases pressure from the joint because it forms adhesions when they get stuck. And then when you gap the joint, it releases pressure from the joint. So it actually kind of opens up a door, the gases release, and then you hear a pop or a crack, and then it basically separates the two so it moves a little bit more freely. So basically we're adding movement into a joint every time we cavitate or crack something. What a chiropractic adjustment is used for is joints that are not moving as naturally or as effectively as they should. And so the adjustments actually apply to a very specific segment of the spine to add movement so that it's moving similar to the joints above and below that portion of the spine. So the reason why it's really dangerous for you to adjust your own spine, so we'll use your neck because it's an easy way to talk about this. You have 7 vertebrae in your neck. They're all stacked on top of each other. You basically need 90 degrees of rotation in both rotations to have full range of motion into your neck. So basically that means every single joint would move something like 13 degrees. And if every single joint moved 13 degrees, you could imagine if one you continuously crack, it adds more and more movement to that joint. The ones below then, because this now hypermobile joint, or the joint that's moving too much is now moving 20 degrees, the ones above and below then become lazy because you don't use that range of motion through those joints above or below, and then you basically lose that motion. So it actually feels helpful because when you get the cavitation, it feels helpful because it relaxes the muscles around the actual joint that's tight. So it feels better, but in fact, you're actually making the problem worse because you're getting those joints even more stuck above and below the portion that you keep adjusting. In through the neck specifically, it's impossible to actually get the joint you're trying to cavitate. And that's usually because, like Jenga, it moves at the point that actually is the most mobile already. So you're always going to get the same joint cavitating or cracking, even though it feels better. So when I do the adjustment, or when a chiropractor actually does the adjustment, we're adding movement into a very specific joint, and we're decreasing the imbalances or irregularities in the spine. Versus when you do it yourself, you're probably adding to that problem.